But the Colorado Music Hall of Fame is preparing for its induction concert, Jazz Masters and Beyond. The event will honor world-class musicians with close ties to Colorado.
Joining us now, we got Chuck Morris, chairman of the board for the Colorado Music Hall of Fame. Talk about the event. Thank you for coming in. We appreciate having you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So the big question is, who's going to be inducted?
Well, this is our, we've been open 7 years. It's a nonprofit. We've had great inductions from, the first one was John Denver, and we always do a concert to honor each inductee. In fact, for John Denver, we had the Boulder Philharmonic. We had Olivia Newton-John, who was best friends, who hosted and sang. We had the Dirt Band. We had all sorts, and it was amazing. We've had inductions of Judy Collins, who went to East High School, and she did a concert, and we inducted her along with Chris Daniels and the Serendipity Singers, who were in a fraternity house at CU and got started up there. And our last one, we inducted the late and great Dan Fogelberg, along with Jim Guercio and Caribou Ranch. For those of you who are a little younger, don't realize, Caribou Ranch was the greatest studio, I think, in America that was up past Netherland.
Wow. And
was considered the Abbey Roads of America, and we inducted them and had artists that played there. For Fogelberg, we had artists that were... I put together a tribute album to Dan, who died young from prostate cancer, and it's coming out in about a month. And some of those artists came and played, including Garth Brooks, the Dirt Band, Richie Furay, Amy Grant, Vince Gill, et cetera, et cetera. And we got Joe Walsh and Barnstorm. For those who don't realize, he moved to Boulder from Cleveland when he quit the James Gang and started Barnstorm with Kenny Passarelli and Joe Vitale. Kenny Passarelli was born and raised here and wrote Rocky Mountain Way. And the band hadn't played together for 44 years. He's had his own solo career, and he's been in a little band called the Eagles the last 30 years.
It's kind of funny. I don't think a lot of people realize how much music history started right here in Colorado.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to start the Hall of Fame, presented by Comfort Dental. I want to mention, because they've been responsible for giving us funds to grow it and to help us do what we do. Let's
talk about how did the Hall of Fame get started?
It actually got started about 20 years ago. I'm best friends, and one of the first acts that ever played for me, and I manage him personally, is a great guitar player named Leo Kotke. He was from Minneapolis, and I went to the Minnesota Hall of Fame, where he was there, and Prince was there, and all these great artists from Minneapolis. And I realized there were about 30, 35 music state Hall of Fames, that Colorado didn't have one.
Wow.
And we've had such a great tradition. I've been doing it almost 50 years, and we've had going back. We inducted, by the way, Glenn Miller, who was from here. And
that's right.
We booked the Glenn Miller Orchestra. Glenn was killed in World War II, shot down while he was doing a tour with his orchestra. The orchestra still plays. He went to CU, and we did the Glenn Miller Orchestra, which still tours, at the Glenn Miller Ballroom, named after him, and inducted him and Lanny Garrett, who's a tremendous
so much
artist.
History, so much history.
But the next induction is November 28th at the Paramount, and it's the great jazz artists that are, and beyond, we call it, because some of them aren't quite jazz, that grew up here and called Denver their home. Some of them still do.
All right, Chuck, thank you. Well, we're going to have this, all this information. Of course, it's the concert Jazz Masters and Beyond. It's scheduled for Tuesday, the 28th. You can get tickets now, and all of that information is at cbsdenver.com. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good to have you here.
Yeah.